Why is the Audi RS6 known as the ultimate daily driver? Now, cars like the BMW M5 have more power, are slightly faster, and they have the option of going into rear-wheel drive only mode. But you say the BMW driver doesn't have the option of a big boot like this Audi RS6 has. Well, at least not in 2020, they didn't. But then you have cars like the Mercedes E63S, which can also go in rear-wheel drive only mode and also can have a big boot. So really, what is it that sets this Audi RS6 apart from its competitors? Well, today we are going to find out. But not only that, we're going to do a 0 to 60, a 30 to 70, see what MPG this car really does, how much is an Audi RS6 going to cost you at the pumps, see how quiet this thing is inside, is that what makes it such a good daily driver, and of course, have some fun. Because my name's Tom, and you are watching Paragon Cars. Welcome to the real-world review of the Audi RS6. Let's go. So first things first, obviously the Audi RS6 is very powerful. You've got 600 horsepower, 800 newton meters of torque, all-wheel drive, it's going to be fast, it's going to be loud, it's a V8. But where this car is already differing from the likes of the M5 and the E63S, just driving around in comfort mode or auto, as we are in here, where the car learns what you're doing, it just feels pretty much like a regular Audi, and that is where it's very different. Now on this Vorsprung model, which is the model I would recommend you actually get, you get basically everything as standard bar the carbon ceramic brakes. And the one thing that is great as standard is this all-wheel steering. Mini roundabouts have never been so easy. The other thing I love about this car as well is obviously you just have so much torque low down. That 800 newton meters comes in at just 2050 RPM. So go down to 20 miles an hour, and you literally just tickle the throttle and you just glide up to speed. And it's a level of acceleration that is quite weird. So if you're used to quite a small car and you're really revving it out, that's what this car feels like when you're just kind of touching the throttle. Now, of course, we are going to launch it later because we're going to test this car's 0 to 60. But before that, we're going to see what this thing does on the 30 to 70 sprint. How fast is this car once it's rolling? Is it faster than an M5 or an E63S? Or is it quite slow? Well, let's find out. .30 to 70 then, the Audi RS6 did a absolutely rapid time of just 2.93 seconds. But if you look at the leaderboard, unfortunately, not only is it not as fast as the Mercedes E63S or the BMW M5 competition, it's slower than a car in a class lower than the Audi RS6, and that is the BMW M4 CS. Although if you've ever seen a drag race with an M4 CS, you'll know that it is punching well above its weight. Of course, buying a used Audi RS6, you're not only going to be looking at the service history, but you're going to be looking at the wear and tear. More importantly, the wear and tear on the inside. So let's see how much the interior of this Audi RS6 has worn. Looking at the seats, it's only a 5-year-old car, so there's not going to be a huge amount of wear. But where you will find the most amount of wear is on the driver's bolster, especially the lower one down here. A couple of creases, nothing too bad. Bit shiny, but that can be cleaned fairly easily with some leather cleaner. Obviously the steering wheel is a little bit shiny as well, but again, that can be cleaned. The main thing you want to look out for is any marks on this carbon fibre trim, because if it's been damaged, it is very expensive to replace. And the thing is with this carbon fibre, it's open pore. So if you have something like a key in your pocket and you rub up against it, you can actually basically just pull all these fibres out. So you just want to be very careful with that. Now then, coming onto the motorway, just in comfort mode, like you would be driving this car every day. Come round here, and let's just put off it down. Oh my God, and that's 70. That's a lot. Yeah, see what I mean? 600 horsepower is just, it's almost too much. I mean, obviously it's great fun, and it's lovely to have that power on tap, but it is excess. It is a lot of power. Now, the one thing I did notice is that this gearbox, it's the same gearbox that's in the M5 as well, and loads of the cars, ZF 8-speed transmission. But BMW definitely calibrate it slightly better, going from 8th to 2nd gear. On the downshift in the M5, it kind of smoothly goes to 3rd gear, whereas this, it kind of goes to 3rd and then it jumps down again to 2nd gear. It just feels a little bit sloppy. And then in terms of response, if we slow down to about 50 odd miles an hour and then I just plant my foot, yeah, see what I mean? It goes to 5th, then to 3rd. It's a little bit slow on the down change. One area where it is quite nice though, where you're actually going to be using this car most of the time, is just when you touch the throttle. So if I just give it half throttle, it downshifts 1 gear and then you just immediately glide up to 70 miles an hour. Then again, obviously being the 4-sprung model, we've got adaptive cruise. So if I whack that on now, whack it on 70, we've got lane assist as well. And yeah, the car just basically drives itself for you. So if you are looking at an Audi RS6, I think the 4-sprung model is actually kind of the one you want to go for. Yes, it's quite a bit more expensive, but you just get everything bar the ceramic brakes. And do you need those? I'm going to be really honest, you really don't. You really do not need the carbon ceramic brakes. The only case that you need those brakes are if you're doing track days at least once a month, or if you're on the Autobahn every single day doing your commute. Any other time you don't need them, because you still get the 10 piston calipers in this thing. The brakes are already freaking huge on this car. You really do not need bigger brakes or better discs on this thing. Anyway, enough waffling about the brakes. Let's see what MPG and what noise level this Audi RS6 does on the motorway. Okay, so first things first, we have beat the claimed combined figure. We've done 27 miles per gallon in this thing. And yes, I know you're probably not going to use efficiency mode most of the time, but that is still quite impressive. So on a long motorway journey, you're going to get over 30 mpg. Absolutely mind-blowing for a car with 600 horsepower. But not only was that impressive, we did 69.7 decibels at 70 miles an hour. 69.7. Not only is that quieter than the same generation BMW M5 and E63S as this car, it's quieter than the new BMW M5. So if you're doing a lot of motorway driving, not only is this car very slightly more efficient, it's also quite substantially quieter inside. But is that extra sound deadening going to be detrimental to its handling? Well, there is only one way to find out. So let's press our RS mode, get into RS1, and let's get the traction off as well, because you know it's still an Audi at the end of the day. Get the gearbox into manual, and let's go. It's stupendously fast. Okay, full attack mode, everything in its stiffest setting, including the suspension. Can it handle the weight of this car? Just over 2 tons, this thing. Kind of light by big estate standards now, to be honest. But the all-wheel steering, I mean, the grip levels are just monumental in this thing. Absolutely monumental. And the all-wheel steering totally changes the character of this car, especially at slower speeds. Even at faster speeds it does as well, because the stability is just unreal. Now, the thing is, with the all-wheel drive system, at slower speeds, it's turning the rear wheels in the opposite direction to the front wheels, but at higher speeds, it turns the wheels in the same direction to improve stability. Right, what does this RS6 sound like? Sports exhaust on this one, being a 4-sprung car. Yep, it sounds good. It could certainly do with being a little bit louder though, I will say that. Still a little bit quiet. I think I'd remove the resonators, but there is some noise. It's nearly adequate is what I'd say. And I mean, just the sheer grunt that this engine has is phenomenal. Then the brakes, obviously I mentioned you don't need the carbon ceramics, and now I am going to show you why. Because 70 miles an hour, you get to the 100-yard marker and you just touch them. You literally stop on a dime. Obviously massive tyres on this car as well, so yeah, you really don't need them. Oh god, the levels of grip are mental. Can't get anywhere near the limit on a public road in this car. So on the wide open stuff, it is an absolute hoot to drive. But what about down a British B road? Is the width of this thing just slightly too much to handle? Well, before we find that out, we must find out whether this car will still do its claimed 0 to 60 time of 3.4 seconds. That is a hell of a fast time, and even with 600 horsepower, going to be a tough one to beat. But anyway, let's see what this Audi RS6 can muster. To 60 then, not only did we beat Audi's claimed time of 3.4 seconds, we beat the brand new BMW M5 Touring. That's right, Quattro is just absolutely mental in the Audi RS6, and it means, come rain or shine, you are going to do 0 to 60 insanely fast. So it's quick, but it's not quite M5 quick. Can you feel that though? Of course you bloody can't feel it. It's like 0.2 of a second different. One thing you can feel is just how fast this thing is. I mean, going down a smaller B road like this, you really just can't get your foot down in this thing. I mean, like, second gear, poodle down here, foot down, and there's 60. It's just like, done. That's your lot. It's just, I mean, it is just excess. It's ridiculous, but there is something quite satisfying about just having so much power under your right foot. I mean, like, look at this, right? So most cars with about 300 horsepower will get to 60 just before the corner. Watch when this car gets to 60. There. Not even halfway to the corner, it gets to 60 miles an hour. It is just ridiculous. And it means I find myself changing gear at like 4,500 revs because I just don't need to use 600 horsepower. The sound though, once this car's warm, is rather nice. It's quite breathy for a V8, but it is just glorious. And I mean, the handling, a lot has to be said for the handling of this thing. It is unreal. I mean, so just going around these corners, just letting the car float round them, it just feels so planted and so stable. Nothing is happening really. It's just so capable that it's just nowhere near its limit. Like, even going over bumps like that, it just has so much travel in the suspension. It's just able to deal with everything that you can throw at it on a public road. And I have actually driven the performance version of this car around Goodwood. I'll show you a little clip of that now. And even there, it just felt so stable. I could slam on the brakes mid-corner and the rear end wouldn't step round. Yes, the car would move around, obviously a lot more, you're still on a circuit, but it was so predictable and so easy to drive. And even this regular Audi RS6 is just unreal. It really is. But then the thing is, you've had your fun. You go back into drive, you go back into comfort, you get the traction control back on, the engine turns off because you've got the 48 volt mild hybrid system, and in comfort, it really is comfortable. It feels like a limousine. It really is unreal how smooth this car is. And the kind of size of the thing, it just shrinks around you unlike any other car. Something like the BMW M5 and the E63S, you are still aware that it is a big car, whereas this, you feel just a little bit more closed in. And the thing is, you've got a nice thin steering wheel as well. That all-wheel steering makes the steering so fast in this thing. Like, you basically barely have to turn the wheel to get this car to go around a corner. And that's where this really sets itself apart from the competition. It really is just 20% quieter, more comfortable, more relaxed, but it's also about 95% of the way there when it comes to the hooliganism. Audi have struck pretty much the perfect balance when it comes to their performance cars. Yes, I love the M5 and I love the E63S, but I would like to live with the Audi RS6. If I had £100,000 to spend on a car, it would go to one of these. And that is why the Audi RS6 really is the ultimate daily driver. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoy content like this. If you did, please give us a like, and why not subscribe, as not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which today actually includes this Vorsprung Audi RS6. Click on the link in the description, you're not going to want to miss this one. Anyway, as always, my name has been Tom, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.